This is LA Kings Fan Talk with Rodney, Rob, Darren, Mike, and Joe. What is up, everyone? It's time to talk about a certain someone who scored his first NHL goal today. That also happened to be the game-winning goal in overtime. Yes, I'm talking about Kings rookie Brandt Clarke. So, Rob, you've probably been Clarke's biggest fan on the show, so we'll start with you. What were your thoughts when you saw Danault pass it off the board, sending Clarke on that breakaway in OT?
Is like just a proud father, you know, just seeing him pick that up. I think anyone that was watching the game felt it. They knew he was going to score. He was not going to get stoned. Game was over. As soon as he got it, picked it up, there was just that feeling that he's meant for that moment. You know, I've been saying it forever. He is a difference maker, and it's going to start showing more and more. The more chances he gets, I think we're in store for seeing that happen multiple times for many years.
So him being in the penalty box and then jumping out and scoring.
Hey,
Just kidding.
hey, well, you know what's funny is I sat there and I thought of Fiala right away too. What other king out there does so many bonehead things, but does so many good things? But when I look at his bonehead thing of taking that penalty, I would almost say that penalty saved a goal. I mean, I'd rather him take that penalty and give us a shot at penalty killing, because we do have the best penalty kill, right? Um, Rather than letting that guy go all alone. I mean, it sucks that he had the penalty, but it is what it is. And the move was awesome. That was a very good goaltender that ended up on his back.
A
I
quadruple
hope
deke.
it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And when he looks back at this, I wonder if he's going to realize he peels off, turns around, and the two people that are hugging him have A's on their chest. One of them is going to be a future Hall of Famer that he's going to be taking his spot. Drew Doughty and Philip Danault were there with their arms up and smother him. I mean, that's some pretty cool company to be hugging you after your first NHL goal. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome to see. Joe, what did you think when you saw that happen in OT?
Yeah, similar reaction. Uh, Essentially, I mentioned this before we started talking, but um, yeah, when Kempe hit the post, I was like, oh, that was our chance. And then I went back to my mind. I'm like, they got 30 seconds after if they can kill the penalty, which things were going well. And then when we got down to the last second or two, and if I'm not mistaken, there was a defenseman wound up to take a slapper, and um, as soon as he did that, I'm like, that was stupid. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're just giving the chance for the Kings to get possession, and not even possession. All they have to do is whack it out of the zone, and obviously there's a solid chance that you end up with a breakaway if you just put it in an area where the guy coming out of the box can get the puck, which is exactly what happened. So as soon as the rebound came out and Danault's, soft, lazy, whatever you want to call it, pass up into the neutral zone, I was just like, oh, here it comes. And then Clarke, comes into the picture, and like, oh, here. I was off my seat immediately. And,
I love it.
there haven't been a lot of good moments lately. So, um, was super excited for the Kings win, but definitely excited for him because, um, definitely watched a lot of highlights of his so far this year. So far, I haven't really been entirely impressed with his play with the Kings. I'm not saying he's been bad or anything, or he doesn't deserve to play. I certainly want him to play, and think he deserves to play. Think he has huge upside. Is don't think it's shown yet at the NHL level. That said, that was a world class finish there on that one. So uh, exciting finish to a game and an exciting start to hopefully a long NHL career. So yeah, congrats to him, man. Next to Kopitar, maybe one of the best first NHL goals I've seen by a
Right?
Kings player.
And I love it, the reaction of his teammates, and then the locker room celebration for. I mean, he was just you could just tell he's
If the camera was on me, Rodney, you would have included me in that group too because I jumped off
probably
the couch. Yeah, and it was what noon here, 12:30. So yeah, for me to show that much emotion at that time of the day was, uh, well,
that's
yeah,
right. We do know you, so that definitely is something. That's
yeah. I don't look that homeless for not for a reason.
so obviously he had a great overtime winner, but what do you guys think about his overall play in the last two games? Just overall, defensively, how's he been doing, Rob? What do you think?
So I I'm just going to repeat some things that I've been saying as far as he he just seems to be thinking the game better than everyone else on the ice. He just sneaks up in the right spots. He's he just has such an offensive mind when it comes to where he needs to be and how to distribute pucks and there's just some intangible things there that I don't think anyone else possesses on the team. Doughty, I think people thought Doughty was going to be this big offensive defenseman for us for many years, and I don't think Doughty's ever been really that offensive ever. And now in his older age, he's taken up the part of saying, I I get more joy out of stopping a goal than scoring a goal, and he's become quite defensive. Clarke is just off the chart when it comes to the offensive IQ stuff. And I don't know if we've ever had an offensive IQ defenseman that I can remember. I mean, when Paul Coffey came around for the cup of coffee he had with us.
For the cup of coffee, I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you guys
He's
think?
he's he's a difference maker. I'm telling you, he's a difference maker, and it makes no sense to me why he should ever come out of the lineup.
What do you think, Joe? Do you agree?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I mean, like it's like I was go ahead and call it the mishandling of Byfield. Um, you would think, like with the start of the year that he's having, Byfield's having, that that the goons up top would have learned something by now. But um, I'm not a big hater of Blake and company, but like obviously with the losing streak, frustration sets in and stuff. But that's when really some of the decisions that have been made over the last few years become magnified. And um, I get the dilemma of the log jam on the right side. But when you have a person that you drafted that high, like, look, I think Spencer is keep, but he doesn't have the career or the trajectory, the potential that Clarke supposedly has. And obviously you can tell, compare the two guys, just their frame. I mean, they're similar in that they're kind of shifty and quick and whatnot, but obviously one's way taller, like is a specimen, or I don't know if that's the word, but he's a big lanky dude and, and cover a lot of ice, skate smooth, all that stuff. But back on track, uh, in terms of like the last few games or since he's been in the lineup, I don't like nothing he's really done is like wowed me or anything, but I still think he certainly deserves to be there because he is the future of this organization. He, along with a couple of the other younger guys. So it makes zero sense to to leave him out of it just to whatever. I mean, I'm sorry that it comes at the expense of Spence, but it is what it is.
There's a lot of Kings fans that want to, take England out of the game, play Spence.
I think it's worth exploring for sure. If it doesn't work out, then so be it. But the other thing I think too is to separate maybe Doughty and Anderson. I don't know, just shake things up and to see if there's maybe another combination or combinations of defensive pairings at work. You know, when the put it this way, and this is the thing that frustrated me about Todd. I used to call him Coach. Now I'm gonna call him Todd because it's not Coach. Um, uh, he had that chance to do that for 12 plus games to just shuffle it up. Like I know he did to some degree with the forward lines, but just he said he'd run out of options. I don't think he had, um, including benching players that you know I wouldn't advocate for. I don't know. I think Todd had options. That I think water under the bridge at this point doesn't matter. But you wanted to shake a jolt into this team. They could have benched Dubois. That alone, one is deserved, and two would have definitely been a lightning bolt through. Like every other player there. Like, hey, this is $8-9 million player that's getting raked through the coals.
Right.
So. But yeah, I think there's alternatives to simply just benching Spence for sure. So yeah, I'm open to anything on that front.
Rob, what do you think? So you wanted Clarke to play all the time. Are you on the team of let's keep Spence on the bench, or are you like, hey, let's try Roy on his left side?
Right. I'm okay. I'm okay with benching someone else besides Spence, and I think the obvious one is England. Maybe against a bigger, tougher opponent. You know, sit Spence, let England play. But
Right.
I'm okay with all that stuff. I don't know if you noticed there was a few shifts. Doughty and Clarke were out there. They've been doing it, late in games, but the past couple of games
Yeah, I
they
noticed that
started.
last game, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do have to give it to Hiller. He's been trying a few things with personnel that I don't think Todd would have ever done.
Yeah, but and that's I'm glad you pointed that out, Rob. But that's a good example right there. And I was actually going to say that earlier, forgetting that that's actually happened. But that seems like kind of like a natural, like kind of the obvious thing to do, like put the legend with the next generation sort of thing. Um, but yeah, there's obviously there's six guys that are going to play defense, and you've got seven. And you can shake them up a million different ways. I don't think we have to be averse to somebody playing on their offside. So
Here, I got a question for you, Rod. I know we're short on time here, but um, not knowing that Brock Faber turned into Kevin Fiala, okay, and not knowing that getting rid of Walker turned into keeping $3 million of Provorov and getting rid of Cal Peterson. Forget all that stuff. Just who's a better threesome on the right hand defense? Doughty, Roy, Spence, which has been the Kings this whole season, right? Or Dersey, Walker, Faber.
Ooh, I like that. I like that question because obviously you've been thinking about that. So I'm gonna have to come back to you and ask you what your thoughts on that are after, obviously.
Because Faber's going to be the Calder Trophy winner this year, right? And
Yeah, and
absolutely.
was I the only one that was like I never wanted to get rid of Faber. I was hoping they could get Fiala for something else. I knew he was going to be really good, but I know he really wanted to play in Minnesota.
Walker's going to get a first round pick when he's traded at the
Right,
deadline
right.
because he's playing that good. And Dersey is just absolutely
who Sean
phenomenal.
Walker is?
Yeah,
Oh, really? He's in Philly, right?
yeah. And then Dersey's just lighting it up in Phoenix.
Well, I'm gonna
And
say
we
right now you could say It's Walker, Jersey, Faber, but by the end of the season, I'm saying it's going to be the Kings trio.
Okay.
What about you? What do you think?
I don't know. What do you think, Joe? Or
Yeah, I'm somewhat confused. So Jersey, Walker, and Faber is what you're saying?
Faber? Are those
Cowdy?
because those were three right-handed defensemen in our
Sure.
organization
Yes.
2 years ago?
Well, so I mean, I'll just say this, like, hold on, I got a cop. Um, I will say this that I was always a big fan of Walker's, and then when he got hurt, obviously that set him back. So I don't think it's surprising. I was always big on him and Roy, and I know maybe there's some criticism of Roy this year, but I don't because it was unexpected for him to score as many, for at least for me, to score as many goals he did last year. I'm fine with Roy's defensive play this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's not shocking to hear that Walker's doing well. But to answer your question, I mean, I know everybody likes to have a hard on over like prospects and stuff, but like, there's no guarantees, and I don't watch these guys, so I don't want to like pretend to be like some expert. But even if you are, like how many times are people wrong? How many number one overall picks end up being nothing? How many, top five picks end up being nothing? So yeah, granted, you have a much better shot of being a good player if you're drafted in the top 10 of the first round, um, yeah, I mean, it sucks to lose.
So my whole thoughts on the three right-handed defensemen, um, because I said take out what we got and what we gave away and all that stuff. Um, I think Faber, Walker, Jersey might be a better trio, but when you do factor in just the fact that we got Fiala and got rid of the
Well,
Cal
and
Peterson
Fiala
contract,
last year was like so dynamic,
yeah,
less. And I remember us having a conversation about him being reckless, whatever, but in control. This year, it's far more reckless and just a lot of more dumb penalties at costlier times.
yeah,
Does Hiller play Clarke tomorrow against the Penguins?
he better. That's my answer. He better.
Yeah, of course, I think so. He's already shown that just putting Turcotte in
Yep.
uh, speaks volumes.
England got in a fight. Maybe he needs the day off to rest his hand because it got bloodied.
Maybe this is the
So
day we see both
maybe,
Spence and Clarke in the lineup.
yep.
I
I
mean,
And
think I
free
think Hiller.
Kaliev.
I'm gonna say I think Hiller knows that he has nothing to lose and that it makes sense. If Todd ran out of options, there are options that are young that he
right,
has, including also playing Kaliev over
right.
Lafreniere.
Let's
Yeah.
get Callie in there. All right, Kings fans, that's our show for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and elbow that notification bell just like Brad Marchand. Until next time, stay classy. And go Kings, go!
Marchand's a rat.
I was going to ask you guys about that elbow. What do you guys think?
Terrible.